Welcome back. This is episode number 361 of the Healthy Diabetic Podcast. I'm Coach Ken. If you don't know much about my story, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 25 in 2007, and I'm the founder of Simplifying Life with Diabetes, a diabetes health coaching company that bridges the gap between your medical team and the daily complexities that you face every single day living with this condition in between your doctor's appointments. As always, I'm joined by my good partner in crime, Graham Hubbard. Graham is here. We haven't been on for a couple weeks. It's been, I think, Graham, what, 2 or 3 weeks that we've been on?
Yeah.
If you don't know much about our story, we started this podcast in 2020, and we are two type 1s with almost 50 years of diabetes experience, lived diabetes experience. So we talk about anything and everything on this show, on our live show. We go live Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 p.m. And we encourage you to come on, listen, interact with the other people that are in the lives, and ask us questions. That's what this is all about. So before we get started, please remember that nothing that you hear on this podcast should be considered medical advice or otherwise. Please always consult your medical team before making any changes to your diabetes management. Graham, that's it. That's the intro. What's up, man? That felt like it was really
Well,
long.
I could say a million things. Sorry if my audio sucks.
See, everybody, we're having problems with Graham's audio, so we'll
Yeah,
see what happens.
amongst amongst summer travel and things to do. Ken and I, we just did it today. We've been on for an hour trying to troubleshoot. So I kind of like this setup though. Like I'm not
With the
holding
headphones.
anything. I'm not sitting close. We're just talking. Yeah, dude, it's probably been. We could date it. We recorded in June for sure, right?
Yeah. Well, it's still June, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's June 23rd, so we definitely recorded in June. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
no, I was there were some back and forth. I had some craziness with work, but the last 10 days were scheduled. Let me just get right into it because I got a top of the line story for you, and we got to rate how top of the line this is. So my daughter and I just got home yesterday from 10 days camping. So every year, my group of friends from Columbus, we meet up in the Mohican State Park, which is in Ohio, on Father's Day weekend, which we just started doing that. We actually started doing that the year my dad died. And it was only the guys that had kids, and then that has grown and it's become a big tradition. So every Father's Day we do that. We go camping. This year, it worked out that this is probably going to be the only thing that I did for the summer. So I told my daughter, let's make an event out of it. So we looked at the map. I was like, dude, we can go through the Smoky Mountains. We can go through the New River, the New River Gorge. So if you're not familiar, I went directly north through Appalachia, Blue Ridge Parkway, Gatlinburg, Smoky Mountains, Athens, Ohio. So I was up on that. I literally just rode the Appalachian Mountains up there, but very cool and amazing trip. Absolutely amazing. But then the destination was the Mohican State Park where all my friends were. So by the time we're there, we're setting up shop. If you've never been camping, it's like the best way to describe camping, and this is tent camping, like we old school do it. The best way to describe camping is kind of like you just throw all your shit in the car and then you unpack it there and like you figure it out. Like, and a lot of people don't camp a lot. So, you might be like, oh, I forgot I had. So that's camping. So there are things kind of everywhere. A lot of people. I carry man, I don't have it. I wish I had it with me. I'll pull it up later. I carry a fanny pack for all my diabetes goodies. Blood sugar, insulin, 2 types of insulin, needles, but it's a fanny pack. So it also has a pocket. So my wallet's in there, which I have lost it before and things like that. So I also put an AirTag in there. So on Thursday, so on Thursday we unpack. We're gonna be there for 3 full nights, very loose, having a good time. Take my insulin. I specifically remember it because somebody was asking me some questions about diabetes. So we had a little back and forth. 2 hours later, I'm like, let me do a follow up because I don't know if you remember this. I'm off of CGM, which is another major conversation we're gonna have. So I'm not on CGM. So I'm like, all right, let me do a little 2 to 3 hour after dinner follow up. And I can't find the pack. There's kind of a lot of things everywhere. I looked around, couldn't really find it. Now, if you know anything about parks, state parks, campgrounds, animals are smart. So animals figure out that people are there. Now, if you know anything about the Mohican State Park, and you should look this up, their raccoons are famous. Like they will break into bro, listen, they will break into coolers. They can lift up coolers. They can do zippers. They will rip through screens. They will defy you. And we've been going here for like 4 or 5 years. So that night was a very, very, very busy raccoon night. Just it's. I mean, these things are so bold. If you're at your campfire and you have a picnic table next to your campfire, they will be on your picnic table eating your shit while you're sitting at the campfire. Like that bold. Okay. So back to the story. I ended up going to bed on Thursday night because I can't find my pack, but it wasn't a big deal. I was probably laying in bed though on Friday morning where it hit me. You know what? I put like fig bars in my fanny pack. Like, and if you know anything about these raccoons, like they could definitely smell like a fig bar through the fanny pack. So long story short, that's exactly what happened. So
Yeah.
hours go by and I don't tell anything to my friends because I'm like, I sound like a psycho. Like the raccoons took my shit. Not to mention it didn't matter because my fucking wallet was in there, bro. And I live in Florida. I drove up to Ohio. So I don't have an ID. I don't have anything. So I'm like, I don't know. I got to look. So I turned my shit upside down like 3 times. Then I grabbed a 16-year-old, which is the son of one of my buddies. And I was like, hey, private conversation. I was like, minor emergency. Keep this between you and me. But I was like, start going through my shit. Just second set of eyes, go through my shit, verify I'm not crazy. People kind of catch on what's happening. And yeah,
How many
sure
hold on,
enough.
hold on. How many guys were with you?
So I'll have to. I have a video of right when we found it, and he does like a pan of everybody. At this point, there were 4 men, probably 7 kids on a search party, just going all through the woods. And dude, in the best part, when you're going through the woods, you're literally finding wrappers, you're finding foil, you're finding entire watermelons dude, they'll steal a watermelon and core it and leave. Like it's wild. It would blow your mind. And if you know anything also about raccoons, I don't know if this is true with any other animal, but their best sense is their sense of touch. Their number one sense is their sense of touch. So they got these little hands that are crazy. So yeah, search party goes out. I was so distraught, and I didn't really know how I was feeling because at this point, dude, I also split my Traceba, so I'm doing a morning dose. So at this point, it's like 2 p.m. I mean, literally, it was 2 p.m. the next day. So I'm kind of like questioning how I feel. I'm looking up maybe there's a pharmacy. Like I don't know if you've been through that rigmarole. Like I've lost everything before and had to replace it on a trip, and it sucks. But knock on wood, technology, insurance, doctors, you can make it work. Somebody finally is like, dude, you have an AirTag. So I find a way to get on the internet, find the AirTag. The AirTag brings us to a couch in the woods, completely ransacked. It took machetes to get to it. So this is the brush. This isn't just the woods. Like this is needles, the brush, machetes,
Holy
cutting
shit.
down little mini trees. And we took a picture of it. And like when a zipper splits and it's like just the zipper is stuck in the middle of like the zip. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's just surrounded by needles and insulin.
Was the insulin busted too?
No, dude, no, of course not. They found the they smelled the fig bar. They took the fig bar. They walked. They left everything else. And my
Well, at least
buddy,
you got your wallet and everything back.
well, my buddy's in there. And he's like, bro, send me a camera so I can send a picture. So I can. He was like, what he wanted me to do was throw him like a phone to take a picture so he could like throw it to me back and I could verify it. I was like, I don't care, bro. Just pick this shit up. I was like, I need to take some insulin, like, and like, I
Oh my god,
mean,
this is great.
again, like, I was, then you dump everything out and you save what you need to save. And like, luckily, I think I had some test strips that were in the car. I had some, but I was completely, dude, like these raccoons, I didn't have any insulin. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a wallet. They stole my shit. Raccoons. Raccoons kept me from being normal. So here's the best part. Guess what my blood sugar was at 3 p.m.? So I took insulin at 7 p.m. the night before. No blood sugars, no insulin until 3 p.m. What do you think my blood sugar was? Not what you think it is.
Uh,
137.
That's not
Like
bad. But you
not
didn't eat
bad,
anything.
bro. That was lock and panic, bro. You know what? It was done after that, man. You see it, bro. You feel the crash, like that feeling of like adrenaline
Okay.
and like it was, it wasn't the end of the world. I think the thing that bothered me the most was like, we're supposed to be chilling, having beers, and it's like now I'm panicking over.
Well, it's a
I mean,
normal thing that you're panicking over it. You
well,
didn't.
dude, I will say this, and this was the running joke the rest of the time. There came a point where I had to say to my friends, I think raccoons may have stolen my fucking shit. Like raccoons may have stolen my insulin. And I think the best part is everybody's like, yes, it's just like a search party started. Like,
Mhm.
we were talking about it on the way. Like, dude, are you sure you look everywhere? You know, so there was like a lot of pieces happening. But yeah, in the end, well, let me go back. The absolute craziest thing is if you didn't know this, and if I didn't have an AirTag, you definitely would have not found. So like if that was our first year, you would have never known raccoons would have been that bold, right? Right. So that was experience. If it wasn't for that air tag, no way. No way. Bro, he used a machete to get to my shit. And if you've ever seen somebody macheting through the woods, it's not just like wing, wing. It's like you gotta hack high, you gotta hack low, you're pushing shit back, and then you're stepping on it. And obviously
Where
he didn't.
was okay, hold on. So this is a crazy story, but I think
Hold
this is a
on.
learning
Let me see if
experience
I
for
I
everyone.
know. Let me quickly see. I just like I like was sending it to everybody really good. Let me see if this will work if I can hold it up to the.
Yeah.
Can you
I mean,
see
you can
that at
barely
all?
see it through the video,
But
but
it's
yeah.
woods. It's a pack. Here, look. Let me zoom in on the goods.
Man, that ripped the crap out of that thing.
There's a toothbrush right there. Obviously, I had to get. I had a. It's like my favorite eye mask in the world. I like to throw that out immediately. I didn't have like
So
alcohol swap.
hold on. This is great because
It is pretty crazy.
I'm about to turn this into educational experience
Yeah,
for
let's have a
everybody.
whole episode about it.
So here's the question I have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Oh, I see where
was
you're
this
going.
thing?
This is a very
No,
good discussion.
where was this thing? Was it just on the table? Was it
Uh,
in your tent? Was it like chilling on your like chair by the fire and you guys weren't there? Like where was this thing?
uh, it's the analogy that I said to you. Like everybody, okay, you have a campfire, and then all the chairs around it, and then on the
Yeah.
outskirts we set up tents with tables
Yeah.
underneath it, and then you have like
Yeah.
a little kitchen set up. There are so many people that my friend Gus and I put together two tables, so it was just this long table. Some
It was on
things
the
in the
table. But it was on the table.
probably just sitting on the middle, just in the middle of the table,
Okay.
but
All right, cool. So
not open, zipped up, wrapped up,
yeah.
one
Okay.
single Finmo.
I needed that clarification for this part of the story. Okay. So here's my next. So we've determined that it was probably on the table. Everyone either was away from the campsite, or everyone's around the campsite, and this bold son of a bitch just came up and just grabbed that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've determined that piece. The next piece is, was that all of the stuff that you had? You had no extras like in a cooler
Well,
or anything in your tent or nothing. No
before I before
supplies.
before I answer that, I do want to say something to bring some like levity to the story, and maybe I'll sound a little bit normal to everybody else. Understand that these are my best like my best friends are kindergarten, elementary, or neighborhood. As in, all of our moms were pregnant before. Like we've known each other our entire lives. So we are drinking, we are smoking pot, we are like a lot of it is like, hey, are you such an idiot that blah 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 blah. And like so it's a lot of bullshitting and talking shit. And not to mention Friday, I felt great. So we're having beers and we're chilling. We like so the whole night goes by. So all the questions you're asking are like, it's all not a blur, but it was all happening so fast. And
No.
you're like,
Okay. So
hold
hold
on, I'm
on.
gonna answer. I'm gonna answer. This will be a really great thing because I have to thank you. I have to thank the podcast. I have to thank the community. I've never had better control of my diabetes because I got rid of CGM, dude. Like when I say I am locked in, I, I I am so locked in, it's ridiculous. And then splitting my basal, I'm so ridiculously locked in. So to answer your question, I get like 9,000 test strips at a time. So I had like 4 bottles of 50 test strips in that little cup holder in my car. Cause my daughter and I traveled for days and days, as I said. So I had a bunch of test strips and
So that does nothing without your
I
meter.
happened to have, I happened to have a extra Traceba in the middle console of the car. Yeah. So I had my bolt, I had my basal, I had my long-term insulin. I bet you I could have found a needle somewhere. I leave needles at like, but it would have been like, I'd been living on one needle without a blood sugars.
Okay.
Oh,
So, but again, here, hold on. So this has nothing to do with what I'm asking. What I was asking is if you had extra insulin supplies, and you did, right? You had your Traceba in the middle, in the center console, not the best place out, not the first place I'd put it. I'd put it in the cooler. So let me give context for
well, no,
this,
wait, wait, wait,
because
wait,
I
wait,
think
wait,
this
wait.
is
Hold on,
interesting.
hold on. Because I think you're not, this might be, and if you haven't listened to us in a while, there, Ken and I were very aggressively talking about people that are just like, fuck it, like, I need a break from all things diabetes. So I have been in that headspace, is my point. Like, no CGM, I'm just
Yeah, so
not,
you're not
I'm
on a
like,
yeah,
I'm
that doesn't
living.
matter right now about this. That doesn't
No,
matter right now
it,
about the story, right? So
well, it
so
does because
hold
I
on.
wasn't, my headspace. Hold on. When I packed, I just wasn't, it didn't matter. I just
Oh,
didn't
okay,
think.
okay,
That was
okay.
what I'm
Now I
saying.
understand.
Is like it just wasn't as relevant to me. It was like you got what you got. Like I actually have an endo appointment tomorrow to get some more supplies. So I mean, if you really want to know, I was on like I took a road trip with like half of the
Yeah,
vial
okay.
of Humalog,
All
knowing
right. So
like, yeah,
but
I'm the
that's what I was
smartest
trying to
person in the room.
understand.
Yes.
Okay,
So this
so
is
that's what I was trying to understand is like how much supplies did you have? Where were they? Here's why I'm saying this. And this is not a slam on Graham in
no,
any way, shape, or form.
I'm an
Right?
idiot.
So Graham, no,
He's stupid.
Graham is not an
Graham is
idiot.
dumb.
So Graham, we talked about this on the last episode. So if you haven't listened to our last episode, Graham made this very apparent, and I completely understand where he's coming from. And I was there 2 months ago, right? Graham basically stopped using a CGM because he's kind of burnt out with everything, right? And he wanted to go back to what he does really well, which is using MDI and using test strips and finger pricks. So that's why he didn't have tons of supplies with him. What I would say to Graham is, if it was me, I would have had a whole nother baggie of insulin, multiple things of insulin, like probably 2 pens of Traceba, 2 more extra pens of Lemjeb. That's the insulin I use, right? And then for me, I would have had probably 2, even if I'm only staying the weekend, I'm still taking 2 other CGMs, tons of test strips. Like he's got he can't do nothing about his glucose meter because his glucose meter was in his bag, which the freaking raccoon stole. So he couldn't test it. It doesn't matter how many test strips he had extra, he couldn't test his blood
So,
sugar, right?
but
Hold on. So the reason I'm saying this is because it's vitally important for all of us. Vitally important for all of us to make sure that we have double what we need at all times. At all times. That is like the rule of thumb. That's even what your medical team should be telling you if you're going on vacation, if you're going camping like Graham. Anytime I go tent camping, which I did for the last two out of the last 3 weeks, I went camping, and I always had an entire bag of needles, test strips, my glucose monitor. I had 3 vials of Traceba, even though I was only gone for 4 days. I had 3 pens of Traceba, 3 pens of Lemjev. I had a whole entire baggie of Afrezza with 2 extra like inhaled things of a cart of Afrezza. So I had all my stuff. And even when I'm tent camping, I'm putting that in our cooler. Now, Graham said these sons of guns can get in your cooler too. So, I mean, I will have to say, Graham, I've been at tons and tons of state parks. Our coolers have been out. Our food has been out. I've never had one single problem. And I've been tent camping now with my family for almost 3 years. Not one time we have had a
please,
raccoon issue. We
please,
had a skunk issue last
yeah.
year. We had a big skunk issue last year. The skunk came and was trying to get to our stuff, and we were like, oh, shoot. And we had to like shoo him away. But that's so crazy that you had a raccoon issue. Raccoon took your shit. That's fucking crazy.
Everybody, just make sure you look up Mohican State Park. Let me see. I know there's ways to do the research. State. Park, raccoons. Dude, these things are
I
role
believe you. I'm not
these
disbelieving
things
you
are role
whatsoever.
playing. Oh no.
I'm just saying it's funny. And now I will say we've never been to
Oh, here it
Mohican, I
goes.
don't
Here you go.
think. I
Just real
don't
quick
think.
from AI. These came right from AI. Raccoons are highly active at Mohican State Park and are well known for scavenging through campsites at night in search of food,
Yeah.
proper food storage, no feeding,
Did
rabies
this happen at
awareness.
night? That's the other thing. Did this happen at night?
They don't
Because if
give
it
a yeah,
did,
they don't
you're an
care.
idiot because that should have been in your tent with you. If you that should not have been on the table. All food and everything.
So
At least what's what we do. No
really,
food is out. Nothing is out.
I'm really,
Even
en-
tent camping.
I'm really enjoying this conversation with you because this is what I like about you. Is just there is a cross section of living life and having diabetes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm an idiot without a doubt. Like I had many conversations with myself. Like Jesus Christ, like you are an idiot. Again, drinking and smoking. So the fact
But
that
none of that
hold
matters.
on, hold on. That's the funniest part. Like the fact that in your head, 99.9% of the times, if you did not find that pack, my personality would write it off as like what Ken is saying. Like, dude, you fucked up. Like, you messed up, man.
I didn't say that, but I don't
No,
think you did.
Ken, I'm saying that to myself.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
say like, you can fix this. Spend a day at the fucking pharmacy in Loudonville, Ohio. But here's the flip side, and I think this is me. I made a choice a long time ago what's going to run my life and what's going to rule my. This is the same point of not wearing a CGM. This is the same point of this is an experiment and just saying like let's let's let let's let all the things that I think I'm doing right with my body and my life and my existence come together. Every single day, I was laughing, I was happy. I was with my daughter. My daughter's like at 9 years old, so we're driving and we're talking. I mean, I had goosebumps just living. I was like, it was life. I was living to the fullest.
And that's
And
amazing.
that's what I'm saying. And, and at times it does get to a point where, and I learned this lesson from somebody. This is the best advice I could ever tell a diabetic who is work is busy, whatever's super busy and you're burned out. Lock your blood sugars in because then you just don't have that to worry about. Take care of whatever you got to take care of. If you're gonna, if you need a weekend to get with your boys and just have beers, well, leave it at that. Just lock your blood sugars in so you don't have that. You don't have to make people worried about you or whatever. Or like
Yeah.
you might not be living your best life. You might want to be a different version of you. Give yourself the compliment at the end of the day where you can always pat yourself on the back and say.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't know.
think
That's a part of
so.
it. That's a major part that
Yeah.
I was thinking that, and I knew we would talk about this, and I knew that it would come up.
So
But
hold on, Graham. So I want to say this one thing to you, right? And this goes for everyone, every single person that is living with type 1 diabetes. Okay. First off, to you specifically, Graham, you're not an idiot. This could have happened to anybody. It literally could have.
yeah,
You leave your I can't tell you how many times I have a fanny pack too with all my shit. I don't have food in there, but I have all my insulin, my wallet, everything is in that fanny pack. I've left that on the table, in a chair, and we've disappeared for a little bit. Like we've gone on a bike ride or whatever. I will have to say I've never left it overnight on the table. But again, doesn't have food in it. I've always put it in the tent. But this could have happened to anyone. So don't feel like this was like your fault
yeah. I
that this
don't feel like
happened.
that. I know.
I
Laughing
I would
about it.
say if there's anything that's your fault is you didn't take enough supplies. And you didn't have backups. You have a backup plan.
Yeah.
That's for me, that would be the takeaway for me if this happened to me. Like I didn't have a backup plan. My only plan was like my pouch. That was it. Right. And it could have even happened to even have losing it. Right. You have it and you guys go for a hike or you go to the park or you go to the pool or the beach or whatever it is and you just accidentally left it somewhere.
Yeah.
It could be the same thing. You always got to have backups. And that's
It is a
what I would say to everyone.
It's a personality. Do you leave your car? Do you ever leave your car unlocked or windows down?
All the time. But
Do you
because
leave your car? Do you leave your
I
car
don't care
keys?
about my car.
Ever leave your car keys?
I don't leave my car's keys in the no, I've never left my car keys in the car.
So
But
that's another thing for me, and I wouldn't want her to hear this because my wife technically works for a car company and I lease their vehicles, but like I parked my car on Thursday, and the keys never left. The keys were in there the entire, like,
Yeah.
so it's just, maybe it's
But
just
do you have
it's
a remote
personality
start?
type. It's personality type, so
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
and I don't,
Um,
it's also, if you've been through something that really, really sucked, and, like, to be really honest with you, man, is like, I've had, this is the number one thing for me, and I'm shocked I don't hear it from more people. Dropping a vial of insulin on, like, a tile floor when I'm in the Caribbean or Puerto Rico, or overseas. Like, I can't tell you how many times. Like, so we have a lot of carpet, in the U.S. People don't use carpet as much. That's my number one. I need to get, like,
what,
little,
dropping it and then breaking?
yeah,
Dropping it
yeah,
and
yeah. I
breaking?
need, like,
So
condoms
that
from. They make things for them, like condoms for your vials,
yeah,
or you
yeah.
can get the pen. The pens are a lifesaver.
But that's why you have backup. That's why you always have backup.
Well,
That's
yeah.
why you
If I
always
went
take extra.
overseas, if I'm on a plane ride, for the
But how
most
many
part,
you said you were gone for like 12 days.
I'm in the U.S., bro. I ended up in Ohio, where they, like, the pharmacies know me and shit. Like,
So what?
I
Like
have
you still
insurance.
gotta take time to go to the phone. So this is where I
That's
think,
not
Graham, this is
technically
where
true. Hold on. Let's have a conversation. Do you
yeah.
realize that you could get everything in one trip to a CVS?
Yeah, you could.
You could buy you could buy blood glucose over the counter. I'm pretty sure you can buy needles over the counter. They could write you a script right there for your insulin. So,
So here's the thing with that though, because I literally have issues with this. So this is the thing with pharmacy, right? If you are someone like myself, and maybe even Graham, I go to Walgreens.
mhm. I
I
use
love
CVS, but I
Walgreens.
like Walgreens too. Yep.
I love Walgreens because this is the only reason. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't give a crap where I got my stuff. I love Walgreens because the way their system works and how everything is connected, you have your own profile. If I'm in California and I need supplies for whatever reason, I can literally go on the Walgreens app and order it at
Mhm.
the nearest
Yeah.
Walgreens.
Yeah.
You can't say that for a lot of other pharmacies.
Sure. Sure.
So the reason I'm saying that is we have to be careful about how we're talking about how people get their insulin. I know when I order insulin, I can't just walk in and get it because you have to order it and then it has to process. They got to send it through insurance. If you have to get a pre-authorization for something like a CGM, they have to do that, and that takes time. That takes sometimes 3 business days. So the reason I'm bringing up that you always need to have 2 times extra, that just means however long you're going to be gone. If I'm going to be gone for 7 days, I need enough supplies for 14 at the bare minimum.
Mhm.
That's the rule of thumb.
Mhm.
And that's important because for 2 reasons. One, if you're in what Graham's situation was, like let's say he couldn't find his insulin. Maybe he couldn't, maybe he didn't have that tag on his fanny pack and he never would have been able to find it. Now he's trying to spend all day long dealing with the nearest pharmacy. They gotta call the doctor, they gotta call insurance, they gotta do all these things. And he might be dealing with this for 24 hours. And it might have messed up his day. Whereas if you have enough insulin, you don't have to deal with that. If you have a vial and like Graham says, because I've done it before, dropped it on the concrete or dropped it on tile and it breaks, well, you have extras, so it doesn't matter. It sucks that you just broke a whole entire vial of insulin, but it's not going to kill your trip. For
I
me, this is where this distinction comes in because you said something else, Graham, that I think is very important to talk about, and it's you know this thought process of diabetes should never hold us back from living our life. And for me, if I have to deal with insurance or if I have to deal with the pharmacy because I don't have enough supplies and I'm out traveling, like that's going to be a pain in the fucking ass. And set yourself up to win. Don't do that to yourself. Set yourself up to win. Have enough supplies. Have enough supplies. That's why I always go with that rule of thumb of 2 times what I actually need. And for me, I think that is a big distinction because I don't want to deal with that stuff for 24 hours or however long it's going to take. Or at the very least, they're like, "Hey, yeah, we can't get this here for we can't get it. We can't get a hold of your doctor. We can't get a hold of the insurance, but you can pay out of pocket for this. Now I got to pay $300-$400 for a little tiny vial or a pen because I'm not in my normal area and I'm not near my normal pharmacy." right? So I think this is important to kind of think about.
I want to say this as a side cloud comment of what you just said
Yeah.
though, and it is something that I do believe we all need to be working on, and I think society will kick themselves in the butt here soon. But my first thought was like, dude, love thy neighbor. Do you know how easy it would be to start walking and just being like, you'll never believe this, and I just be like, let me just pull like 100 units of insulin, and I'll just, I bet you $1 million I would have had insulin in 30 minutes. And that's the only thing that I do.
Yeah, I don't know,
That hold
man.
on, hold on, hold on. Like a business owner, like a CEO, what is their job? To solve problems. Like, to me, I think of diabetes that way. You're the CEO of your body. You're supposed to be
100%.
you're also supposed to be innovative, think outside of the box. But at the end of the day, you got to solve problems. And to me, the big thing was like not panic, not panicking. But I did, I did think, the other thing was guilt. Guilt struck me. And let me explain to you. And I have always felt, if there's one really specific diabetic fear I have, it's going to bed at night and becoming somebody else's problem. And I feel, and I
Mm,
mean, my best friend in the world, like,
yeah.
he says to this day, dude, like, I saved your life. Like, it happened to me one time in my entire life where I went, and he happened to be having a sleepover at my house. Like, the dude literally saved my life, right? And I do not like the guilt that comes with that. And to see
Yeah.
everybody on this search party, and like, I mean, it gives me goosebumps right now. And we made a video, and you could hear me. Like, I straight up said to everybody, thank you so fucking much for making the time to do this. So I did think a lot about that. I always think of low blood sugars is going to be a burden. My a low passing out, not waking up. That's going to be a burden on people. But to your point, to your comment, it wouldn't look good on me if this was like an every year thing. Then I would have to judge myself as a diabetic and be like, come on, this year is a little different. We could laugh about it, blah blah blah. But I do agree with you in that, and that's why I don't mind laughing at myself and like saying what I'm saying. But I think that not wanting to feel guilty feeling has actually brought me really far with my diabetes. So
Yeah, because you're trying not to be in that position.
oh no, I will.
Here's
Can you
yeah,
imagine my
so
daughter? Can you imagine like when we were in the Smokies, my daughter waking up, my 8.5-year-old daughter waking up to her dad having like a seizure in a camp. She doesn't know where
yeah,
she
we
like
don't
that's not
that
a kid
yeah.
isn't, and then they say I passed away. Your kid doesn't a kid is how does my kid go on? Like
But that was not even
that's go ahead, go ahead.
yes, but that was not even on the table of
I
you
know, but
passing out or having a
why
seizure.
not think that far? I'm the
Because
same as you
because you're
were,
because you are putting hold on, Graham, this is important, right? This is really important of what you're saying. Because earlier you said something that's really important, which is you wanting to live your best life. And I believe that. I believe that for every single person that's living with diabetes, I believe that for every single caregiver of someone with diabetes it is in us to be able to live our best life and not have this condition control our emotions, control our life, control anything. We control it. And what you're bringing to the table here and communicating is a very powerful emotion that you are 100% allowed to have. But here's my red flag. This is what I think about all of this. As soon as we start inviting these thoughts, all of us, as soon as we start inviting these thoughts of being a burden, of not wanting to feel or having this fear that someone else is going to feel a specific way based off of your actions as being a diabetic or the way you treat your diabetes or whatever it is. As soon as you bring those emotions, it is a fast road to diabetes burnout, distrusting yourself. And that is not a place that any of us should be, right? So for me, yeah, okay, maybe you mess up and you do something that you shouldn't have, or you make the wrong decision in the moment and you start having those feelings, that's okay. But when we start bringing fear into the mix, that's when everything can potentially roll out,
Are,
you know,
well, dude,
roll out and not be good. I don't feel that's going to happen to you because of the way you live your life with this condition.
are you
You're able to
motivated?
sit back.
Are you
What?
motivated? Are you motivated by fear?
No, because I don't have fear.
Nothing about
Fear
being
doesn't.
diabetic. Nothing about being diabetic makes you feel fear.
No,
Wow.
no,
I That's
no.
crazy. That's crazy.
And it's
That's
and that
crazy to
has
me.
taken a long time to get to.
Okay.
It really
Okay.
has.
Okay. That's
Even
fair.
even the fear, even the fear of my girls waking up one morning and
Mhm.
my girls being diagnosed, that's been my biggest diabetes
Yeah.
fear.
You've always said
Not a
that.
diabetes fear of me,
Yeah.
but a diabetes fear of someone else. That
Mhm.
my girls, then now I'm gonna have to deal with my girls. That's gonna be a crazy emotion if it ever happens. I know it will not, but if it ever happens, it'll be a crazy emotion to deal with.
Mhm.
I've never had these crazy fears of like, I have to do this or I'm going to lose a leg. I have to do this or my eyes are going to go. I have to do this or my mouth is going to fall apart. My gums are going to like be
Yeah.
bad. And like, I've never had any of those fears.
Yeah.
I've never had those fears like, "Oh, shoot, if I don't, if my blood sugars aren't perfect all the time, that I'm going to die if I go low. I've never had the fear of I can't, I'm going to keep my blood sugar higher because I'm so afraid of lows because I'm going to die. I've never had those. What I'm going to say never. I currently do not have those fears because I've worked so hard at understanding what works and what doesn't work. And my management 80 to 90% of the time, I'm focused on those things that work. And I'm focused on the things that I can control. And I'm less focused on the things that I can't control. That's how I manage my diabetes. Because anything else outside of that is just noise. That's
So
just going to keep you from making real decisions.
you know, my immediate thought as you were saying this is that that's the catch-22 of 3 to 5 day hospital stay that I told you I got when I was first diagnosed.
Yeah,
So
100%.
I'm eight.
100%.
I'm 8 years old. Get admitted to a hospital. I got overly educated because, as medicine goes, it's a lot of case studies. So it was a lot of do this and do that and don't do this and don't do that. I when, like, for instance, when we were camping and it was all said and done, I was like, man, that was kind of fun being like afraid like that. Like that was like the ultimate high. Like certainly we are complete opposites in that regard. But and this is why I don't ever really look at us as evens. I've always kind of looked up to you more as like a brother. But I look up to you as a brother as that as a goal for me. And I think I could do the same. Like I think I could make that work for myself where it's not constantly reminding myself of the bads that could happen. Like you could flip the script and do what I said on this vacation, just be out living, you know?
That's what you should be doing. And so I want to say this too about you because I think this is an important piece for you. And it's also an important piece for everyone that's listening that maybe feels the same way as you. I will say that I am in awe of you sometimes because you have these emotions and the way that you deal with diabetes and the emotional aspect of it, you use it as fuel. You use it
Totally.
as something a driving force of why you have such good control of your diabetes. It drives you. The fear sometimes drives you. You can't say that about a lot of other people.
Yeah, I understand.
So I am not saying all of this to you to make you think that you have to change and get rid of your fear because the fear helps you sometimes. Where other people the fear is a barrier and is holding them back on living their best life as we talked about earlier.
Right.
Right? If you're listening to this and you're someone like Graham who thrives on the fear, thrives on the emotions and it doesn't like hinder you from making decisions, then 100%, like, I'm not someone that's gonna tell you, you gotta completely get rid of that fear, or you should try to alleviate some of that fear so you're not so you don't feel so restricted and burdened. But for someone like me, if I had tons of those fears, I'd be, like, in my head all the freaking time about it.
You-
I'd be in my
What
head.
do you, bro?
It would keep me from making decisions.
So
Like,
Ken, that is
I
the
had to get rid of it. I had to put boundaries mentally in place of when and if I feel those emotions, then I know how to pull myself out of it because like, and everyone else that's listened to this show for a long time, 3 to 4 years of burnout and depression and hiding this condition from everybody. That was my fear thing that I don't ever wanna go back to.
Yeah. That that's what I was getting ready to say. The catch is that that is how I feel. So I mean, we call it you call it stacking, where you just one worry on top of. And to me, I'm not depressed. I'm not anxiety. I just have this hyper sense of worry that creates what you just said. It just creates this compounding thing where it's just like, oh my God, I can't manage. So I take medicine to manage it. If it wasn't for that medicine, you just hit the nail on the head. It's too much, way, way, way too much. So, I've told you about, I'm living proof of it. So that's the thought. That's the better. It's like, you said something too, and I always try to think I'll make good points to other diabetics, but I always thought everybody was like me. It's like you're motivated by that as like a fuel.
You're a one
You
percenter,
know,
dude. You're the one percenter. You
that's
are a
see,
one percenter.
yeah, it doesn't feel that way
I've
though.
told you that before. I've told you that
Mm,
before, that you're a one
yeah,
percenter. It's probably more than that, more than 1%, but you are a select few of type 1 diabetics that the fear, the emotions, you use it as fuel to keep going,
yeah. Well,
and it
thank you,
drives you.
thank you. We don't have a lot. We have update me on you. What's been going on with you? We haven't had a chance to talk about you, and nor have I. I haven't talked to you. So diabetes is
Yeah.
good. Life is good.
Diabetes is diabetes is way better now. Ever like from the last time we talked to 2.5 weeks ago, I had just been coming out of basically a 3-week hiatus of like high blood sugars, out of control blood sugars, not understanding what was going on. It's been much better, which is really good. I have kind of figured out that it's a Freza. Something's going on with a Freza.
The negative.
Whether it's
Then when it's bad things
whether
happening.
well, just like when my blood sugars are like kind of out of control, like a Freza, if I'm utilizing a Freza as my primary dosing strategy, blood sugars are kind of out of whack. Whether that's a me thing where I am not ingesting, or I don't have enough, I'm not using enough lung volume, or whatever the terminology would be for that on the inhale, and I'm not absorbing the medication enough, or if it's the actual medication, I don't know. But when I utilize Afrezza as a secondary dosing strategy, where I'm using it for high sticky blood sugars, it works way better. And when I'm using Lemjev as the primary, where I'm still pre-bolusing, I'm still doing the things, I'm still taking enough insulin, it's way better. So,
Do you worry that
uh,
it's such a new product that this is like
it's
you're
not a
kind
new
of.
product though. It's not a new product. It's 10 years old. It's 10
Mm,
plus years. It's been out for
mm.
10 plus
I was
years.
gonna say
So
what
it's not a
worries
new
me is
product.
like the FDA. It's like it's looking good with the FDA and things like that. So yeah,
Well, it's already gone through all the
that's what I'm
trials. It's already
saying. Like
gone
it.
through all the
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Okay. But do you worry? Do you
So
worry? Do you worry still that it's a newer product? That's. I mean,
I don't. I don't. Because there's so many different things that could be going on with it. Just like insulin, right? Insulin goes bad. You're using an insulin pen. The pump on the pen could be wrong. You're using an insulin pump. The tubes can get disconnected, or they can
mm,
get kinked. The site that goes into your skin could get bent, and that's why you're not getting. I mean, there's so many things with all the different types of stuff that we have out there, uh, of why something isn't working, right? Maybe my system's getting used to doing inhaled insulin. I have no idea. But it just seems that if I'm using Afrezza as my primary dosing strategy, it's just not working the way I want it to work. But
I
if I'm
will.
using it to correct a high, it will work like clockwork.
I will say that's another thing about diabetes that takes, as I said, the CEO, the problem solving is like you would be shocked by one, but they say that with working out too, like change up your workouts, change up the muscles you're using. Like, so I'll go back to what I did. I have threatened for probably 10 years to break up my basal. It was the greatest thing I've ever done, dude. The
Yeah.
craziest
You're
part.
welcome.
So yeah, thank you. I take six in the morning, 6 in the PM. I can miss a dose, doesn't change anything. I can miss 2 doses, honestly, like I'm right back on there. It's such that what
Yep.
I don't like is the Humalog works in hyperspeed when I'm taking the Humalog dose and then a Tresiba dose.
And that
But
might just be your own personal thoughts,
yeah, I'm
it might
correcting.
not actually be the correct.
I'm using a 50-to-1 correction, which I've always done. I can probably do like 100-to-1 correction when I take it with a Tresiba. But no, you just said it. You just said it, and that's probably the number one on the truly. We're being honest with ourselves. Like I laugh about what you said about being the 1% because I make it look easy and it's fun. But the one thing that really does get me is that overwhelming feeling of, well, what is just this? Well, what if it's just that? And like the fine tinkering, like that is burnout. So that is burnout because things don't work out and you have life to leave and you have projects and deadlines and workouts and family. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, wait, what was my latest diabetes project? I have a notebook actually, where if you like it, I have different diabetes projects. I call them like literal diabetes projects, where I'm like, let's eat potatoes for 2 weeks. Let's eat more white rice. Like, I'll turn many eggs on drink, whatever, So
You know how I deal with all that? All of the craziness, all of the decisions, all because that's kind of what I
you
believe
ju-
you're saying is like all the decisions.
you journal,
Mm-mm.
do a
I
podcast,
hate journaling.
you do a podcast,
No,
you sing,
I sing. No,
you
God, no.
make
You
up
don't want to hear me
diabetes
sing.
songs. Go ahead. What?
Do you want me to tell you, or you just want to keep guessing?
I could keep guessing. You can tell me.
Do checklists. I've created
Yeah, I know.
checklists, right? So it's like here's all the things that I think are going to happen that could happen in a given situation, and then here and the top three.
Like premeditated thoughts.
Well, no, because when I first started doing it, what 6, 7 years ago, I had to write everything down.
Okay.
Because it was like, okay, I got to write all this stuff down. Now it's literally in my head.
So
Like when
explain.
I was
Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. Go back to the check. Go back to explaining what you mean by the checklist, though, because
I'm trying.
I know, but I was going in a different direction.
Yeah. Okay.
I want you to
All right.
restart
So
and let me
checklists.
focus.
This
Okay.
is checklists.
Like you're not talking about a regular checklist.
Just let me talk. Okay. Checklists. Okay. This is what I literally do with my clients
Okay.
that have issues with decision making process.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. What are the things in a specific situation? Let's use a CGM as the example.
Okay.
Okay. CGM's not working for whatever reason. Okay. What are the things that could be happening in that instance? Okay. It might not be reading your blood sugar because of why. Bad CGM. Okay. You just put it on and you're within the 24, 40-hour window when you probably aren't going to have very much. It's not going to be very accurate because of the fluid that's attacking everything in your immune system that's attacking that specific plastic needle, right? That could be something. You could have knocked it and it could be coming out a little bit and you might not know. It could be bleeding. It could be broke for whatever reason. Just all the things, thinking about all the things that could be happening. Okay. You might be
The
dropping.
checklist is those.
Hold on. Stop. Let me just finish.
This is
Okay.
harder.
So all these things that could potentially be happening, right? They get entered into a checklist of 5, 6, 7, 8 things, whatever it might be.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Then from there, you prioritize the checklist on the things that happen the most often for you specifically. Right. What are the things that when your CGM is off, what are the things that are happening the most often? And when that actually happens and your CGM is actually not working properly, you go through your checklist. Number one, is number one the problem? No, number one is not the problem. Okay. Number two, is number two the problem? Nope. Number two is not the problem. Number three, is number three the problem? Actually, yes, that's the problem. Okay, cool. I need to change my CGM, whatever it might be, whatever that thing is, whatever that number three is for you. Right. And then you have information in front of you to actually make a decision on what to do next. Instead of like, okay, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. I don't know what it is. When I started doing that and writing these things down, this is even what I did with an insulin pump. Did the same idea with an insulin pump when I was using an insulin pump. When I did that, it made all the decisions way easier because I didn't have to like go outside of my brain and think about all the things at once. It's like I literally had everything written down. Here's the 7 things that happen in this situation.
Give me a second now, because this is why maybe we'll explain. Maybe I'm a little confused. Do you need everything written out like on one page so you can kind of see it all? Are you talking like you're going to make, because what you just described to me sounds more like an outline, right? Like you have a problem and then a subcategory, and then categories on.
Yeah, I mean, however you wanna think about it, yeah, it's just
Okay,
it's a
that's what
checklist that
has me
literally in your
confused.
brain, you're checklisting, you're checking these things off as you're
Yeah.
going down the checklist, right?
But you're not
That's what you're literally
crossing them
doing.
off in the sense that you might come back to them. It's not like a checklist
Well,
where it's like, got it done, and I
yeah, it's exactly what it is. But it's either on a piece of paper. Right now it's in my brain because I literally have everything situated. I've done it so many
okay,
times, right?
okay.
But for someone that's just starting this, it's important to write it all down,
That's what
right?
I'm asking. Okay.
CGM's not working. Here's the things that happen. Insulin pump isn't working. Here's the things that happen. And it all takes you to a specific decision. For your CGM, it takes you to one or two decisions. Do you keep this thing going or you take it off and change it? That's literally what you're trying to get to. With an insulin pump, do you need to change your pump and try a different site, or can you troubleshoot this a little bit? That's literally the only thing you're trying to do.
I
But
guess
what you
my
don't want to
question.
do, if you don't, what you don't want to do, like in a CGM aspect, what you don't want to do is like you're 24, 48 hours in and you're like, shoot, this thing isn't working. It hasn't been working for 24, 48 hours. Numbers are all over the place. You might be in that window where it's going to be off a little bit. You might have to calibrate a couple times in the rest of the 10 days or 15 days, whatever you're wearing for the Dexcom, it's going to be fine. So you might prematurely take it off to put another one on when you didn't need to. That's why the checklist is important.
Do you go out of your way to add things to said checklist if you're like, hey, maybe it could,
Sure.
so you'll like
Sure.
okay, okay.
Something pops up like, man, I've never really dealt with this before. Or, oh, hey, this is a brand new thing that I just learned about, right? Like like the first 24, 48 hours. I didn't always know that. So yeah, that might get added to the checklist later. And is that and maybe do I bump that up to a higher priority?
See, when I think of checklists, they're like literally sitting here. Look, I can only flash them because I don't want you to read the words. But you see these, like
Yeah, yeah,
literal,
yeah.
like
That's exactly what it is, Graham.
that's why I'm.
That's exactly what it is.
But no, no, no.
And
Hold
when
on,
you go through
hold
your
on.
checklist,
There's a
you
difference.
can
There's a difference.
if you wanna check it off, like, okay, that's what it was, that's fine. However you gotta do it. I don't
You're.
care.
I think you're trying to give advice, but you have to like finish your advice. I think the main thought that I would have and other diabetics would have is like, but what if there's something that you have to come back to and revisit? Because I think that's like a pretty important part of this, right? It's like, what if it was a totally random day and the first thing on the checklist is like the most important part? So, do you hold higher value to different items that, are you going to cross something off the checklist and be like, that's the number one, most likely this is crazy that I'm checking this off the checklist without going back and revisiting it. You get what I'm asking? I guess it's
No, I
not as
don't
simple
understand what you're
to me.
saying.
To me, it's not as simple as just when it's done, it's done. Like this is
It's
the
not that
nature
it's
of.
done. No, no,
Hold
no. Okay,
on, hold
okay.
on, hold
I
on.
think I understand what you're saying.
This is the nature of diabetes. It is your life. It is your project. It is something that needs to be like laminated on a piece of paper, not crest. If that makes sense, right? Like you want it.
If
You
that's
want.
the way you need to organize it, yes. Dude, all we're talking about is a checklist of things that potentially is gonna happen in a situation. So instead of you having to think about 10 things that potentially are going on, it's all right here. It's literally right here on your checklist. Whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a piece of paper, whether it's on a laminated piece of paper, whatever it is. If you have to physically check something off, that's fine. But
Okay.
the point of it is what is if you looked at the average of things that have happened, you using that technology as we're using CGM as an example, what is the number one thing that always seems to go wrong? That should be number one. What is around the second or third thing that always seems to go wrong? Okay, that's number two or number three, right? And however many numbers do you have on this checklist, every single time that something goes wrong with your CGM, you start at number one. Oh, no, that's not the problem. Okay, I'm going to number two. Oh, that's not the problem. Number three. Okay, all right, that's actually the problem. And then if you need to further your mental understanding of the process, check it off. You're always going to come back to it because that's your that's your checklist. You always come back to it. Every single time something goes wrong with my CGM. Okay, where am I in the cycle of the 10 days? Could it be the first 24, 48 hours? Nope, I'm in day 5. Okay. I've already calibrated 3 or 4 times. Okay, that's not it. Like, it's not a calibration problem. What's the arrow telling me? Oh, shoot, I got 2 arrows up? Well, no shit. Okay, no wonder it's off by 70 milligrams per deciliter because I'm skyrocketing. Or on the flip side, I'm dropping so fast that it hasn't caught up. Okay, so I'm gonna take a chill pill. Do I need to treat because it's skyrocketing up? Do I have enough insulin on board? Is it dropping really fast? 1 arrow down, 2 arrows down? Do I need to treat for whatever reason because it's dropping so fast? Okay, now that I've done whatever I need to do there, or I just leave it alone. Okay, now that I've got a steady arrow, it's been steady for 15, 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Let me test my blood sugar to make sure it's accurate. Okay, cool. It's accurate because it had time to catch up. Okay, cool. I'm fine. Right. That's the process. Because if I didn't have that checklist, and it was off by 70 milligrams per deciliter multiple times throughout the 10, 15 days, I would just remove it.
Yeah.
And that might not be that you might not need to remove it. You might need to, but you also might not need to. That's the point of the checklist.
I don't want to say this live on the show and give away a patent idea, but you should add this to your program, like a filing system.
It is a part of the program. This is
Like
part of the
that
education
is
process.
seriously the coolest thing where you have a Rolodex of problems and you just, all right, pull out that piece of paper and like that's genius. I think my problem with it, it's not a problem, it's all personal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't see it like everything you're saying, describing is very difficult for me as my brain, if that makes any sense. But
You have,
I
but
think
that's
the way
that's
that,
the beauty of this, Graham, because
well,
you have to make it yours, right? It can't be my process. It has to be your process. So whatever your checklist is,
yeah,
in
but that
whatever
would help,
way,
bro. Think of somebody that was new to diabetes, where it's just a catalog of problems, and like that would help them so much. Like, and so it's not about me.
yeah.
It's not about it's not about me. That's what I would say. So,
And some people, and maybe you only have 3 problems that happen,
mhm.
right? It doesn't have to be 5. It doesn't have to be 6. It doesn't have to be 7. It could be 2 problems. Your checklist
Well,
only has 2 things.
the other issue is
Like, that's cool.
what if it's a broader issue? My blood sugars are high. It's like, okay, well,
It,
then there's not
okay,
just
so
one check. It's multiple
now you
checks.
have multiple checklists
Got it.
because now you have a CGM, now you have an insulin pump, now you're combining your CGM checklist and your insulin pump checklist, right?
Yeah.
So now you have to check everything, right? For me, it helps with the minutia of a gazillion things that could be going wrong.
I think it tells me
Maybe
that.
there's 20 things. Maybe I'm just throwing numbers out there. Maybe there's 20 things that could be going wrong in that situation. My blood sugar's high. I'm wearing a CGM and I'm wearing an insulin pump. There could be multiple things that's going wrong, right? But I'm going to take the average problems that I see in both
Mhm.
with a CGM or an insulin pump, and I'm starting at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on day 5. Okay, so it's not number 1 on my CGM list, right? My tube on my insulin pump, if you're wearing a tubeless pump, it's not kinked. Okay, that's not the problem, right? So I'm going down the list,
Yeah,
so I don't have to think so strategic, so hard
you're right.
about the problem
You're right.
because it literally could be anything. And for
Diabetes,
some people that helps, some
diabetes,
people it doesn't.
shit is a second job.
It is a second job,
It
but
literally is a
also
second job,
the
bro.
decision making I guarantee, I swear to God, this is what's helped me with all the with all the mental craziness of this condition. This is literally what helped me. I put as many decisions as I possibly can on autopilot. Oh, that's happening. I've been in front of that before. I know exactly what to do.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
it's time to jump into action,
Sure.
right? The more you can do that, the less burden this thing feels like because you can act right now
Sure.
instead of having to be like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell is going on. Why the fuck is this happening? I don't understand what's going on. This is bullshit. I hate my life. I hate diabetes. Why me? Like now you get into that aspect
Yeah, I
and
understand.
you're just driving yourself crazy.
Yeah.
That's no place for any of us to
You
live.
know, as my last parting comment, I think that is what I'm having so much fun without the CGM. It was like it was too
Yeah,
easy.
man.
It was too easy. It was just like boom, boom, boom. Now it's like, you know what? If I'm gonna make it worth it, if I gotta walk over there and like it's gonna be good, like it's like I don't know, man. It's working in some fucking crazy reverse way for me. So all right.
And that and
It's
that's
been
great for you, man.
it's
That's
been
great for you because that's
I
the
know,
great thing about
I
this.
know.
It's great for you. I would not want to do that. I would not
I
want to
get
pick
it.
my finger 12 times a day. Just wouldn't. Even with the CGM being off as much as it has been for me the past 3 months, I still would not go off of it.
Well, I have an endo appointment tomorrow, so I'll get my blood work and see. But
Yeah.
same time tomorrow, knucklehead.
Same time tomorrow, 2 p.m. Let's rock and
back.
roll.
We're back on
Cool.
it.
We're back on it, guys. We're back on it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Graham, as always, you're amazing. And we will see you guys next time.